but I am just breaking down quickly, but Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video is going to just be a sit down talking video. So today I am going over 30 of my top tips for a weight loss journey. This is gonna kind of include weight loss and maintenance, but I'm just going over 30 tips that I've come up with through my experience on my weight loss journey of 70 pounds and now being in maintenance for about 2.5 years, and just some of the things that have worked for me. And I'm not a doctor, like I said, this is just my personal experience. Some things work for others, some things might not work for you. Everybody's journey is different, so just take what I say with a grain of salt, but these are just 30 of the things that have really helped me along the way on my weight loss journey. So if you enjoy this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's get started. So I wanted to make this video as a way to either help somebody if they're just getting started and maybe they just want to get some ideas of what a healthier lifestyle could look like, or what some tips could be to start to maybe make some changes in their life. Or maybe if you're already on a journey, these can be some things that are a reminder. Maybe if you're hitting a plateau in your weight loss journey, these could be some things that could also help you out along the way. But I kind of just want to make it a little refresher video where I go through 30 of the things that have helped me, and these are the things that I mention across my channel all the time in all of my different videos, but it'll be compiled in a list here. So I'm gonna go through them. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I am gonna kind of break down each one really quickly. So starting with the first one, the one that I talk about the most on my channel, and the thing that made a huge difference for me this time around was rewarding myself for consistency. And what I mean by that is, instead of rewarding myself for losing 50 pounds by a certain day or something like I had done in the past, I would try to like reward myself with prizes by losing a certain amount of weight. Instead of doing that, I rewarded myself with things this time around after I tracked consistently for a certain amount of days. So it was something that I had much more control over, as opposed to like the scale. I can't really control what's gonna show up on the scale. Even if I do everything right, it might not be what I wanna see on the scale, but I can control tracking every single day, and that's up to me to do. Like, I just have to each day make the effort to track my meals in my phone. When I actually did that for 30 days in a row, or the first month or whatever, I rewarded myself with a foot massager. A few months later, at 3 months, I did dyeing my hair. 6 months, I got a tattoo. So different things like that to reward myself really made a difference, instead of putting pressure to hit a certain weight by a certain time. I had all of the control of tracking every day. Then going into that, number 2 is to track everything honestly. So whether you're tracking your calories, your macros with Weight Watchers, or any other plan that you're using. When I was first starting out, I didn't really know much about the nutrition that I needed to be getting. I was kind of uneducated about what I needed to do to eat healthy, and tracking really just helped to, first of all, open my eyes to what I was eating previously and how much I was eating previously. But tracking honestly also just helped me to know each day what I'm consuming, because it is calories in and calories out. That is what matters. And so when it comes down to it, and I'm seeing every single thing that I ate in the day, even if it was just a bite at work at the bakery, I was tracking that in the beginning especially, and it was such an eye-opener for me about how many extra calories I was consuming and just what a normal day should be for me. Tip number 3 is to find the right reasons to start your weight loss journey. So in the past, I had always made it about my looks. I always just wanted to look thin. I wanted to lose weight because of what other people thought of me, and it really had nothing to do with what I wanted or myself. So this time around, I thought about it so differently, and I thought about it as, I'm doing this for my health. Honestly, it was partially out of fear, because I was scared for my health. I was scared I was developing diabetes, and I was just really struggling every day with just like basic things. I really wanted to do it this time around for my health and to feel better, to get rid of these things that were getting in my way, like waking up with acid reflux every night, or having knee pain, or struggling to catch my breath walking up the stairs. Those were the types of things that I really wanted to fix, and it wasn't just worrying about how I looked in the mirror. And that made such a difference for me this time around, because my motivation behind it was so different, and it was just to like take care of myself and do something for me this time around. And it really helped me to see success that way, instead of doing something that I didn't even really want to do or didn't really fully care about. I don't know, it was just for what other people thought of me. I was never going to have success when that was the main reason I was trying to lose weight. Tip number 4 is to work on your mindset and your mental health. I feel like this is something that's being talked about more and more now, but your mental health is so important. And especially when it comes to a weight loss journey or a lifestyle change that you're making, your mental health does need to be as much of a priority as your physical health. And what I did was I started to watch some videos on YouTube. Katie Morton is a therapist on YouTube, and her videos helped me so much in the beginning. I used to just listen to them while I worked on cookies, and it really did change my life to listen to those and to kind of heal myself. And I think that going to therapy would also be really helpful. I think if that's something that would work for you, but honestly, just focusing on your mental health first is huge when it comes to a weight loss journey. And it's something that you shouldn't look past because it really can make a difference. And with this weight loss and maintenance journey, you want something that's going to be good and that you're going to be able to sustain. And so when you focus on your mental health, that really sets the basis for everything else and all the other aspects of your health. Okay, tip number 5 is a little bit more of like a practical tip, and that is prepping ingredients ahead of time. So a lot of people, for them, meal prepping works. For me personally, that is something I have never had success with. I just do not like meal prepping because I get burned out of meals quickly, and I feel like it was just such an overwhelming thing to prep a bunch of meals in a day, and then those were the meals I had to eat for the week. I really got burned out of them. So what I did with my weight loss journey this time was I did different ingredient preps. So instead of having full meals prepped in the fridge, I just had veggie mix. I had bagels that were made from 2-ingredient dough. I had jasmine rice prepped that I could just easily scoop out, add the veggies, add some meat that I had, so maybe like turkey burgers, which I prep all the time too. It made it so easy to just assemble meals that were way different from each other, because I could make a Mexican food inspired bowl with beans and rice and the same turkey burger veggie mix and maybe add some salsa and sour cream. And then I can also use the same turkey burger veggie mix, rice, and then add in tzatziki and roasted red peppers and make it more of like a Greek style bowl with some feta cheese. Like, I can use these basic ingredients that I prep for so many different meals, and that helped me a ton to stay on track. Tip number 6 is to take progress pictures. And that's another thing, especially if you go to my Instagram, I post tons of progress pictures because it has been such a helpful way for me to measure my progress on my journey. When I don't want to depend too much on the scale, pictures help a ton, especially in the beginning when I didn't see the scale moving as much and I wanted to actually see the progress on me. Having different pictures along the way every couple weeks, and then I even started taking them weekly, really did help me. And it's just something that has constantly motivated me on my weight loss journey. And one thing that I mentioned that's really helpful with progress pictures is, in the past, I always would take a bunch before I would start my diet or weight loss journey that I was gonna be doing. And then within a couple days, I would delete them because I was so scared someone was gonna see them on my phone. But with the iPhones, I don't know how it is with Androids, but with the iPhones, if you have the picture up, in the top right corner, there are 3 dots. If you click those dots and hit hide photo, it'll go ahead and move that photo to a separate folder that is called your hidden folder. And it's harder to get to that folder. You have to scroll down in your albums and there's just like a list of words, and hidden folder is one of them. And to get into that folder, you actually need a passcode. So that is what I did this time around. I didn't know that that existed. I don't even remember how I found it, but when I did find it, it was amazing because I was able to hide my photos. I didn't have to worry about people swiping through my pictures and maybe seeing a picture of me in the mirror in my sports bra or something. Like, I was able to hide the pictures, and I've just done that along the way to keep my progress personal and private, just in case. It just made me feel better about taking them. Okay, tip number 7 is about progress pictures as well, and that is to take pictures in a bunch of different outfits. And I'm so happy that I did this because it really has helped me to see weight loss in different areas. And of course, it's nice to have like old pictures from when I was out doing things and stuff, like at weddings when I was in a dress. It's nice to be able to put that dress back on and take pictures in those. But when I was first starting my journey, the first week, I tried on a few different outfits: a t-shirt, a regular shirt, a black dress, a sports bra and spandex. Like, I tried on a bunch of outfits and took pictures from the front and side, and then I just saved those in my hidden folder. And I had those as a way to reference back to if I put on those exact same outfits. And actually in my closet, I have a bag that has all of those outfits in it because I don't really wear them anymore. They just are for those pictures, but I use them to see the different progress that I've made when I feel like I haven't made progress and stuff like that. So taking pictures in different outfits really helped. And along with that, I also want to say something I didn't do, but I do recommend, is to take some measurements. And again, I wish I would have done this. I didn't do it from the start, but I highly recommend taking different measurements of yourself and comparing those along the way, because that is also another way to see progress other than the scale. Okay, tip number 8 is to keep things simple. So in the past, I would always make such a huge, like, restrictive list of just all these things that I had to do. And I had to drink 2 gallons of water and eat a certain amount of, like, it was just so crazy and super to the point, like I just had to stick with this or I was gonna fail. Very all or nothing, which is not a good mindset to have. And so now this time around, I kept things very simple. I didn't really have these crazy requirements for myself every single day that was like, honestly, in my opinion, 75 hard is a great challenge and I know a lot of people have success with it, but for me personally, it just would have been too much if I went from the lifestyle I was living where I was just working crazy, getting takeout food 2 times a day. If I went from that to the 75 hard the next day and like was expecting myself to have success, there was no way that was gonna happen. And so I had to slowly work my way into it with Weight Watchers is what I chose. But again, there's so many other avenues you can go if you don't wanna do that. That's just what worked well for me. I started simple. I started by finding ingredients that I could use that were very basic. I really didn't try to overwhelm myself with a bunch of crazy recipes and a bunch of crazy rules that I had to follow. So keep it simple, especially from the start. Even small changes will start to make a huge difference when you're making a change from the lifestyle you were living. So like, even if I just started to drink more water and have an apple a day, that would have made a difference for me from the lifestyle I was living before then. So you can keep it simple. You don't have to do some crazy overwhelming thing to start, because a lot of times people have the mentality, like I had mentioned I did, of all or nothing, and you think that you have to do all of these things or you're not gonna have success, and then you just end up going back to your old ways, and that's just what would happen with me. Okay, tip number 9 is another thing that just personally worked for me, and that was to wait to incorporate any exercise until I had felt good about my nutrition. So in the past, I had always tried to overwork myself with exercise to be able to eat more calories, but in the end, I would end up eating way more calories than I worked off, and it just never worked out. It was always very unbalanced. And so this time around, I knew that I wanted to focus on my nutrition, because I knew that I can enjoy working out. I can find things to do to get moving, or even if I don't enjoy it, I knew that I was able to get myself motivated to work out. I played volleyball since I was in 6th grade all the way through college, and so I was pretty disciplined when it came to working out, although in the past couple years before I had started my weight loss journey, I wasn't, because I just didn't have time. But I just knew that that was something that I could get back to if I needed to, but I didn't know much about nutrition. So for the first 3 months, I didn't do a single physical activity. I focused solely on my food, and I was able to lose over 30 pounds in those 3 months. I knew that I was doing something right. I knew that I was getting more comfortable with my food, because that was really the thing that I had changed. I hadn't changed how active I was, and that really built the foundation to me having success and not relying on working out to earn points back or earn calories back so that I could just eat more. So after 3 months, I started rollerblading, and that's when I just started slowly around my neighborhood. That's become my favorite form of cardio now. And then after another 3 months was when I started doing weightlifting slowly. It was probably like 4 or 5 that I really started being more serious at the gym, because they had actually closed down for COVID during that point. Okay, tip number 10 is to share your journey with others. And again, this might not be something that works for you. For me personally, I did this more secretly. So I didn't tell anyone at work. I didn't tell any family members other than obviously Adam and Trevor, because I live with them. I didn't tell anyone else, but I did start a fitness Instagram. And I waited 3 months to start the Instagram after I had started my weight loss journey. So for the first 3 months, it was just Adam and I pretty much doing it and not telling anyone. But after 3 months, that was when I made my Instagram, and I didn't add anybody that I knew personally on that. I just started to add people that had WW in their name or that were fitness pages and just anything inspiring. I started following that. I started sharing my weigh-ins, my meals, stuff like that on that page, and it became such an amazing source of support and positivity, and it just really was something that gave me confidence in the start of my journey. And also just like comfort, because I knew that these people were also going through what I was going through, and it just really helped me. So even if it is in secret and it's a personal Instagram like that nobody else knows about, you could totally just make a different name and put a different picture if you really wanted to make it harder for people to find you. Because honestly, I was scared about like, what if people from high school see, or what if people I work with see? Like, I did not want anyone to know about this Instagram. Now people know about it, and it's crazy because I never in a million years expected it to grow the way that it has. Beforehand, it was a secret, and it was something that I just used for myself to share my journey with others. Actually, WW Connect is the part of the Weight Watchers app that you can also connect with others, and it's much more personal. So I think that's a really good way to share your journey with others and just a way to stay inspired and motivated. Okay, tip number 11 is to shop at different stores to have variety. And I know this isn't possible for everyone, but I just know for me personally, this really helped on my weight loss journey. Making things fun in general, trying to find new foods all the time, especially with Weight Watchers and scanning barcodes and stuff. Going to different stores just helped us to find different meals and different snacks and foods that we enjoy. It also does just kind of mix it up a little bit. Even if it's just like the brand name Meijer versus brand name Walmart, like there is a difference in the products, and I do find that it kind of helps us to just keep things interesting on our journey. Tip number 12 is kind of going along the all or nothing mindset thing, but also just do not put too much pressure on yourself throughout this journey, and give yourself grace along the way, because remember that we are just human and you're not going to be perfect. I'm nowhere near close to perfect. I still make mistakes. I still struggle every single day. Finally realizing that I didn't need to put this insane amount of pressure on myself all the time. And in the past, I was just such a people pleaser. Of course, it's something I still am working on, but I was always putting so much pressure on myself. So when it came to starting weight loss, the amount of pressure I put on myself was probably causing me more stress, which was causing me to just gain weight in return, and it just wasn't healthy. So taking it easy, giving myself grace along the way, and taking some of that pressure off really was huge for me on my journey and seeing success this time around. Tip number 13 is to get a food scale and to learn some proper portion control. This was something that, again, was extremely eye-opening for me, and I don't think that you need to rely on this. And it's, again, something that now that I'm in maintenance after some years, I still use my food scale, but I don't need it all the time, because there are some things that I'm able to eyeball now. And I even know this because there are times where I eyeball it and then I weigh it out just to check and see, and it blows my mind every time I'm able to grab out 28 grams of cheese perfectly, or weigh out the dough and perfectly divide it for 2-ingredient dough, and then I check it and it's like exact. It always blows my mind, but I think it's just because I've done it so many times with the scale that now I kind of have an idea just being able to eyeball it. But when I first started, that food scale helped me so much, and we would just weigh things out just to even get an idea of like what was meant to be, like what's 1 ounce of cheese, because to me in the past, I thought an ounce of cheese was way more than what it is, and I would eat like 2 to 3 to 4 servings of it in a sitting or with a meal without even realizing it, thinking that I was just having 1 serving. I was not at all. And so that's where the scale really helped me, and it helped me with tracking. It helped me with being able to portion out meals for us if I made us a recipe and like calculate points with that. And overall, it's just really helped me to develop a lot of good habits when it comes to portion control. Again, it's not something you need to depend on. I don't like live by the scale now. I don't ever weigh out my fruits, veggies, lean proteins, things like that. I don't usually use my scale for. It's more things like rice or cheese, or like I said, if I made a recipe. Tip number 14 is to find snacks that you enjoy. And this is something I did not want to give up: snacks, like crunchy, salty snacks, sweet snacks. I love snacking. If you guys don't know that from my channel, like I feel like it's kind of obvious with all the snack videos I post, all the snack reviews Adam and I do. We love to snack. And so that was something that I didn't want to just cut out because I knew it wasn't going to be sustainable. So what we did is we found so many low point snacks. We do the snack reviews to also find more things, and it's just made it so fun for us. It's made it enjoyable because we love food, and honestly, I'm so passionate about food. So to be able to find healthier alternatives and things that we still love, and honestly, like we thought we'd have to cut out good things that we liked, and then we find lower point replacements that are even better. And so finding new snacks along the way has been really helpful for us. Also making snack mixes, which I have a whole video about snack mixes and how that's helped with my binge eating recovery. Snack mixes really help to like get a little bit of everything and still keep it low point, but have like a salty, satisfying snack or sweet. Then going into tip 15, which is to find substitutes for different foods that you like. So again, I didn't realize how many points of ranch dressing I was eating in a day because I loved ranch. I would put it on everything and it was just adding so many extra unnecessary calories. And so finding a lower point ranch, which is the Bolt House ranch that I use now, I love it. It is 1 to 2 points for the serving I use. And to me, it tastes so similar to ranch that it just works as a replacement. Same thing with Laughing Cow cheese instead of cream cheese on a bagel, or even subbing out 2-ingredient dough for regular dough to make it higher protein and lower point. Those things have really helped on my journey and finding different brands that offer lower point options that we still like and they make us feel good really has helped us to stay on track and not have to like cut out sauces because I still like ketchup. I love barbecue sauce and Sweet Baby Ray's has become my favorite. The no sugar added is so good and to me it doesn't taste any different than the regular. I don't miss the regular and it just works for me to keep things lower point. Tip number 16, and I should have put this higher up because it is so important, but that is just to make water a priority. And I feel like that's so obvious every time. I feel like everyone always says just drink your water. It helps so much. And of course, I'm not saying it's gonna make you just lose weight if you drink water, but staying hydrated is so important for your health. It makes you feel better all around. It keeps you going throughout the day. Like you need to be hydrated to be able to function properly. Staying hydrated, I feel so much better. And I just think it's really important to prioritize drinking water because it will make you feel better all around. It's just something that your body needs and it should be a priority, especially on a weight loss journey, but honestly for anyone, it really does make a difference. I've actually got mine right here and I try to drink this every single day. I really do just try to make drinking water a priority because I feel it on the days that I don't actually drink my water. Then going into the next tip is also pretty similar, but it is to limit sugary drinks. That is something that I definitely did on my weight loss journey, especially because we used to get takeout a lot, so I would always order pop with it. At work, I was always drinking anything sugary I could to try to get energy, like Monster drinks and stuff like that, or iced coffee from Dunkin'. I was always drinking so many calories that I didn't realize. And of course, there's lower point options now that I do. I like to have my protein coffee. I like to use Crystal Light, or if I'm drinking alcohol, have seltzers. I find lower point options, or like tequila with lime juice, stuff like that. I do try to find lower point options, but I really make it a focus to not consume a bunch of my calories and points through drinks because a lot of times it doesn't even make me feel any better. And I find that it's just like empty calories that I'm consuming that I don't even really want. And when I pay more attention to it, it really has helped me. I've also even found lower point options, again, substitutes for energy drinks. I have a 1-point energy drink that I really like, the 3D energy drinks. I really like I said, my protein coffee instead of Dunkin' drinks. If we get pop, sometimes I'll have like Olipop instead because now, honestly, drinking a regular Dr. Pepper, it really does kind of hurt my stomach and I feel it right away. I can drink Diet Pop and I feel fine when I do that, but honestly, I just prefer not to. Even the carbonation doesn't make me feel the best, but I just think that limiting sugary drinks can really make a difference and honestly just paying attention to what you're drinking. So if you are drinking them, track them and see how many points you are having in a day or how many calories you're adding with those drinks. Tip number 18 is another one that should also be closer to the top, and that is getting enough sleep. And that's something that I put off for a while, even at the start of my weight loss journey. And I started to realize how much it actually made a difference because your sleep is your rest and recovery time. And it is the time that your body needs to heal and to recover. And I wasn't giving myself that for years and years. And like I said, even when I first started my journey, I wasn't fully focused on getting enough sleep. Now I've made that a full priority and I feel so much better. I definitely notice the days that I don't get enough sleep, and I definitely notice the days that I do because I feel so much more rested and recovered and just like I can get through the day so much easier. So sleep is huge. It helps with your digestion. It helps with so much. And I think that it's something that you shouldn't neglect on a weight loss journey especially. So that is why it is another tip, is just make sleep a priority. Tip number 19 is to find exercise and physical activity that you actually enjoy and look forward to. And it sounds so simple and easy, but honestly, in the past, I used to make myself do so much that I didn't like to do, and I would dread it, and I would just complain about it all the time. And that was mostly running because I thought that if I could just go run a half marathon, everything would be better and I would just be able to lose weight from that. And so I did that and it was the most unhealthy thing for me and just something that I dreaded so much. Like my stomach would hurt before I had to do it because I just hated it so much. I really did. So this time around with my weight loss journey, I knew that I was not gonna start running. I was not gonna do something that I didn't wanna do. And I knew that I was kind of limited because I am kind of picky. I didn't, like I said, wanna run. I didn't really wanna ride a bike. I didn't really want to get started at the gym at that point. It was more so I just wanted to find something to get moving, and I was trying to walk more because I do enjoy hiking, but I remembered how much I enjoyed rollerblading as a kid. And so I just kind of made a fluke decision to go to the store and get rollerblades, and it was one of the best decisions I could have made. I started rollerblading again, and that became, again, like I mentioned earlier, my favorite form of cardio, but it's something that I look forward to. It's something that I'm so grateful that I get to do. I love it. I enjoy it so much. It's almost like my therapy because I just go and I don't have to think about anything. Obviously, I'm thinking about skating, but like I can clear my head and it's my time alone, and it's just a really, really nice physical activity that I like to do, but it's beneficial in so many ways because I actually look forward to it. And so not forcing myself to do things that I don't want to do. The same thing goes with the gym. So when I started resistance training and going to the gym, I knew that there were certain things I just did not like, including like burpees, and honestly pull-ups were one of those things. And it's changed now where I've started to train pull-ups and stuff, and that's just because I want to continue to push myself. I don't dread it the way I used to, but honestly if I was going to the gym and doing burpees every day, I would probably dread that, and that is why I don't do that. Okay, tip number 20 is to not compare yourself to others, especially your body, your journey. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's body and genetics are different. And I have definitely learned this. It is so easy to get in my head comparing myself to other people, but even just posting my pictures online and seeing what other people comment and realizing like I am 6 feet tall and someone who's 5 foot might look at my weight and think that that is so off for what theirs is, but it's because everybody is different. And you can also like go online on YouTube and see like ab workouts and these women who say that they do barely anything for ab workouts and they have a huge six pack. Like everybody's body is different. Everybody's genetics are different. And comparing myself to them, I don't know what they do every single day. I don't know what they eat every single day. It is not healthy to think that my body can look like theirs and to focus on that and make that a focus. Instead, I've focused on how I feel and how much stronger I want to be and just those types of things, and not comparing to others because everybody's body is different. Everybody's genetics are different. So just remember that. Don't compare to others. Obviously, you can use others for inspiration and motivation. That is so helpful. But remember that everybody's different and everybody has a different life. Everybody has a different body. And so all of our journeys are different. Then going off of that is tip number 21. And that is to use others for inspiration and motivation, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, any social media or anything, or in real life, if it's Weight Watchers meetings, stuff like that. Use others for inspiration and motivation, but also don't be afraid to get creative on your own and to try different meals on your own. You can still keep things simple and create a meal with the things that you like. That's one thing that's really helped me on my journey, is just even finding different ingredients that I like and I know that are like lower point and stuff, and creating different meals with them. Just being creative and not thinking that I have to be tied down to some recipe or something like that. You can still play around with things and find different things that you enjoy, and I think that just makes the journey more fun. Tip 22 is to make sure that you are eating enough calories or weeklies or points, whatever you're following, however you're tracking, make sure that you're eating enough. And in the beginning, I don't think that I was, because I was scared to use my weeklies. And I started to realize like, okay, these weeklies are here for a reason. The weeks that I would use them, I would see better results on the scale, but also I felt better because I felt like I was eating enough on those weeks. I realized that like, this isn't gonna be sustainable if I'm just hungry all the time, or if I'm not feeling like I'm eating enough calories. I'm gonna have to keep staying below that line, and I'm not gonna see progress if I go above that line. And so I kind of figured like maybe I should eat my weeklies and incorporate that and just continue this habit of eating a little bit more because it was working for me, and I've just continued to do that since, and it was actually enough calories what I should have been eating instead of not having enough. And so when I realized that weeklies are there to be used, I did start to use them for more things like protein bars and higher point snacks or avocado or stuff like that, that were things that I kind of stayed away from because they were higher point, like nuts especially. I started to use my weeklies for that, and I really felt more full, more satisfied, and I saw more of a difference. Tip number 23 is something that I do every single day, and it is so helpful for me. So I'm one of those people that the second I finish eating a meal, I want something sweet like right after. And It happens the most after dinner, but also it can happen sometimes like after breakfast or lunch. But what I do is I always try to have something 0 point that is sweet right after. So if I'm having lunch and I finish my wraps, I'll have some grapes with it. Or after dinner, every single day, I eat a Honeycrisp apple right after I finish eating. And it's a 0 point food that is filling for me. It's sweet. It definitely satisfies my sweet tooth. And then right after it, I still have dessert. So I'll still have my yogurt bowl for the night, or a creamy ice cream, or macarons, or something like that. I'll still have my normal dessert, but I already feel a little bit more full, a little bit more satisfied from the sweet apple that I had. And then I find that it makes me less likely to eat as much of the sweet dessert that I want. So that has been something huge. Like I said, even during the day, after lunch, even after I eat the grapes, if I still want something else sweet, I'll have like a Fiber One bar or something like that. But I started with the first 0 point thing to kind of get a little bit more full, get more 0 point foods in and fruit, and then I have the dessert. Tip number 24 is to make meals based around 0 point foods. So every time I start a meal, I pretty much start with my 0 point foods that I'm gonna be using and the protein that I'm gonna be using. So a lot of times it is ground turkey, ground chicken, turkey burgers, chicken sausage, lean beef. Like there are a bunch of different meats that I use, and usually I decide what kind of meal I'm gonna make based on that, and then whatever veggies I have. So if I have a veggie mix made, if I have some asparagus I wanna use, spinach, stuff like that, I add all those things in, and then I start to add things like cheese and sauce and rice and things that add points. And that way I'm making sure that I get the protein and the vegetables in my meal, and then I can start to add the other stuff. But I just find that that helps me to make way more filling meals and to stay on track with my points, because I get a lot of 0 point foods in then, and then it's already filling before I even start to add the point stuff. So I'm not as likely to add as much. Tip number 25 is to not cut out any food groups or restrict anything. And again, like I said, I'm not a doctor, so if your doctor has instructed you to do so or something like that, maybe for a dietary reason or something, that is completely different. But for the sole purpose of weight loss, I did not cut out any food groups, and I did not restrict any foods at all, because I knew that in the past, when I did that, that is all I craved. There would be times where I would cut out all candy, all pop, all everything like that, and then all I craved were those things. And the second that I could have them again, I would go crazy and binge on them. And so I didn't do that this time around. I haven't cut anything out. Still to this day, there's nothing that I won't eat. There are certain things that I decide, like, it's really just not worth the points for me because it's not even gonna make me feel good. And then maybe I just won't have it. But there is nothing that I say, like, I can't have this or anything. I do not cut anything out. And it's helped me a ton with my binge eating and also just staying on track in general, getting enough balance with my carbs, fats, and proteins. Tip number 26 is to make copycat meals at home. I talk about these all the time on my channel. I, like I said, used to eat out 1 to 2 times a day. I would go to a bunch of different fast food places, and it was just not good for me. But that is food that I've always enjoyed. I always looked forward to eating it because it was cheesy and meat and all this stuff, and it was always something that I wanted. What I did when I started my weight loss journey and a few months in and stuff is I started to make those same meals at home using the ingredients that I liked. So especially with like Taco Bell, which is my favorite, you can even buy Taco Bell mild sauce and taco shells, and everything tastes just like it is from Taco Bell, but it's honestly even fresher. And it's way lower in points. I can control the point values, and it's just made it honestly more sustainable for me on my journey to be able to make these fast food meals at home that are more filling and lower in point. And I can link the playlist that has all of my copycat fast food videos. They're also all in my cookbook as well. Tip number 27 is don't wait too long to get back on track. So say that you had a couple days off, or even like we just recently went out to hibachi, and then the next day we were getting stuff out to eat because Adam's family was in from town, and it was just kind of a crazy week of all over the place eating. But right when I can get back on track, I really make an effort to, because it is so easy to fall off. I find that after a day or two of being off track, all I want to do is continue that, because it just seems easy, and it just seems like, okay, well now I just want to get fast food every day. And it seems so easy to go back to those ways. So making it such a priority to just get right back on track with drinking water, getting enough sleep, making a filling meal that has veggie mix in it and a protein and all of that, it always makes me feel better, gets me right back on track, and then I don't actually fall off of my journey. It keeps it sustainable. I was able to have the things I enjoyed in moderation, and now I'm back to it. Tip number 28 is kind of similar, and it's what has really helped me when it comes to getting back on track, and that is preparing for vacation beforehand and after. So vacation or events or whatever, but like when we know that we're going down to Florida to visit Adam's parents, I make sure that beforehand I'm first of all doing well, I'm staying on track with everything. And honestly, what I like to do is kind of clean out my fridge and use all the good ingredients that I have in there for the week prior to the vacation. That really does help me to just kind of clear out my fridge, clean things up. But then I also am prepared for when we come back. I make sure to have things set up. Sometimes if I have things prepped, I could just pop them in the freezer and then we could just grab them back out when we get home. So like a veggie mix or turkey burgers. But I just have a plan in mind to be able to get right back on track when we get home. And like I said, I prepare myself beforehand. So that way I don't stress during the vacation, I can enjoy myself, and I know that I can just get right back on track when I'm at home because I have a plan. A lot of times what we do is we'll plan to go get groceries like the next day after we got back, which of course we're tired and exhausted after vacation, but getting those groceries helps so much to just have that food in our fridge, and then we have more options for healthier meals to make. Tip number 29 that has helped me is to start to pay a little bit more attention to nutrition labels. And what I mean by that is just looking at maybe added sugar or saturated fat or fiber and protein, and really focusing on the things that make you feel better and maybe what doesn't make you feel better. So with Weight Watchers, with the point system, it does take those things into consideration. It is looking at saturated fat in items. It is looking at how much fiber an item has and protein. But if it has more added sugar than just regular sugar, it's also a negative thing and it makes the point value higher. And so looking at those things on a label has just helped me overall to get more comfortable with different foods and kind of understand like what's maybe a better option for me. So I do really try to focus on finding high fiber options and high protein options, and I really do try to limit saturated fat and added sugars. So that is why I pay a little bit more attention to nutrition labels lately, and honestly now it's gotten to the point where I can almost guess how many points an item is because of looking at all the nutrition items on it and knowing like where it falls with that. So Adam and I will try to like guess for different points for items too, but yeah. Then tip number 30 is just to heal your relationship with food. And this might not be something that you need to do, but I know for me personally, food was such a stressful thing in my life. I was always stressed about getting enough food. I was always stressed about the food choices I was making. I have just let it control me for so long, and I've had a negative relationship with it for so long. And honestly, I felt embarrassed about the fact that I loved food so much and was passionate about food and cooking. And all of those things I really have worked on since starting my weight loss journey, and just having confidence in myself and healing my relationship with food, like I said. So not being afraid to have higher point things, not being afraid to share my love for food and snacks, like all of those things have been part of the journey to heal my relationship with food, which has also helped with my binge eating and my mental health side of things. But that is something that I really think has allowed me to have success on my journey and to continue it and have it sustainable, because I'm not afraid to eat certain foods anymore, and it's just become such a healthy relationship with food. Of course, I still struggle and I still have times where I want to binge. There are still things that I deal with, but I've just improved it so much that it has really helped me along the way. Okay, so I said I was gonna do those quickly, and then I went way more into detail than I was expecting to, but I really hope you guys found this video helpful. If you do, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. These are just 30 of the things that have really helped me along the way on my weight loss and maintenance journey. Again, everybody's journey is different, but I hope that this helps you to have a little motivation, maybe help you if you're stuck in a plateau, or if you're just getting started. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.